Hi, my name is Tony Bennett. I'm going to teach a kind of a slow flow vinyasa with some deep stretches, some static holding poses. I like to hold my poses a little bit longer, get a little bit of muscle memory going in the body. Just helps the body relax a little more each time you roll your mat out. If you got a little muscle memory going on in the body, so a little bit longer holds and stretches. Just something to get the body moving, kind of get our mind off of everything that's going on in the world. And we're just going to center on our mat and we're just going to get started. Everybody can come to an easy seat. I'm not going to play any music because this video is going to be on YouTube, so if you want to play any music that you want to listen to while you do your yoga in the background, that's perfectly fine. But we're just going to get started off in an easy seat position, and we're just going to close our eyes. We're just going to let our sit bones get real heavy in the earth. We're going to notice ourselves grounding down. We're going to start letting the vertebrae stack one on top of each other. We're going to get real long. We're going to let the crown of the head reach up towards the ceiling. We're going to let the shoulders stack directly above the hips, and we're just going to let the shoulder blades fall softly down the back. We're going to start checking in with the body and just noticing if there's anywhere where we're holding extra tension. Maybe the shoulders are still shrugged up, maybe the fists are clenching up a little bit. And we're just going to try to relax it. We're just going to notice. Is there any particular body parts that we really need to release, really need to just relax during this practice? We're just going to try to direct our breath to those parts, and we're just going to try to rest the body, try to relax the mind. We're going to start checking in with our breath. We're not going to change the breath at this time. We're just going to check in on it. Notice if it's a little smooth already, maybe it's a little ragged, maybe it's a little rough and raspy, maybe we've got just a little bit of the cough going on. Hopefully not. But we're just going to check in with it. We're going to start taking in some nice slow inhales in through the nose, maybe a 4 count or a 5 count, whatever's comfortable with you. We'll hold it just for a second at the top, and a nice long slow exhale out through the nose. I'm going to make our exhales at least as long as the inhale, but I like to make my exhales just a little bit longer. Get out all the bad air out, make more room for the nice oxygenated air to come in. And if Ujjayi breath is in your practice, the restricting of the back of the throat, we'll go ahead and restrict the back of the throat now. It's going to make your breath sound like the ocean waves, or maybe the wind through the leaves. And it just helps calm the nervous system, helps warm the body up from the inside out, and it just helps build the energy on your mat. So we'll go ahead and start restricting the back of the throat and incorporating the Ujjayi breath if it's in your practice. On your next inhale, we'll take the arms out wide. We'll bring the palms together in prayer. We'll reach up long towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we'll bring our thumb knuckles down to our heart center. I'd like to begin this practice with an Om. You can join me out loud, or you can just sit in silence. Either way, you will reap the benefits of the vibrations. We'll take a nice deep inhale in. So on your next inhale, we'll engage the core. We'll sweep the arms up overhead. We'll get long, reaching up towards the ceiling, and on our exhale, we'll let the left hand drop down to the floor. We'll bring the right hand over the top. We'll really reach long with the right fingers, rooting down to that right hip. We can take our gaze up to the ceiling and slowly look our gaze down to the hand on the floor, just getting some small movements in the neck. And just really letting the whole side of the body just open right up. On our next inhale, we'll engage the core. We'll come back up to center. We'll get long, reach the arms up nice and straight. And on the exhale, we'll bring the right hand down to the floor. We'll root down through that left hip. And we'll really reach out with those left fingers, really just getting long on the whole left side of the body. We'll take our gaze up. Maybe take the gaze down to the hand on the floor. Just keeping some small movements going in the neck. And on our next inhale, we'll come back to center. We'll reach long up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we'll just take our hands down by our side. We're going to reverse which leg's out in front, just keeping a little bit of balance in the hips. And on our next inhale, we're going to sweep the arms out wide. We'll reach up long with the fingers, reaching up, getting length in the torso. And And on the exhale, we're just going to start turning towards the left, keeping the chin in line with the sternum. And on our next exhale, we'll drop the hands, bringing the right hand to the left knee, left hand behind us. We'll get long on the inhales, reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, maybe we'll take our gaze over that left shoulder. Getting a little deeper in the twist. Shouldn't be using your arms at all to help with the twist at all. They're just more to help balance you. We'll take a nice deep breath in. We'll stay for the exhale. And then the inhale, we'll come back to center. We'll reach the arms up long. We'll get length, growing up towards the ceiling. And we'll start turning towards the right on the exhale. Keeping the chin in line with the sternum. And on the next exhale, we'll drop that left hand down to the right knee. We'll bring the right hand behind us. We'll find length here, reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. And on our next exhale, we'll take the gaze over the right shoulder. Really rooting down through the hips, keeping the twist up in the mid-back, the upper back, letting the shoulders open right up, pulling the shoulder blades into the middle of the back. And we'll just breathe into it. And then our next inhale, we'll come back to center. We'll bring the arms up overhead. And on the exhale, we'll just let our hands come down to our knees. And on our inhale, we're going to shine our heart, take our gaze up towards the ceiling. And on our exhale, we'll round the back, drop the chin down to the chest, just for a few seated cat-cows, just still warming up the body, getting the blood pumping, getting our movement timed with our breath. Inhaling on the way up, shining the heart. Exhaling on the way back, dropping the head, bringing the chin down to the chest. And we'll start taking this into some circles, going towards the right. Same with the same motion, the same breath. Just getting some movement going, loosening up the spine, loosening up the back, the hips. And when it's convenient for you, we'll reverse the direction. We'll start taking those circles to the left. Or maybe stick with the just straight up and down seated cat-cows, whatever works for your body. This is your practice. I'm just your guide. We'll come back to stillness in the center. Bring our hands down by our side. We'll get long, reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling. We're just going to bring our feet out about 18 inches, 2 feet out in front of us. We're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together, coming into butterfly pose. You just want to let your knees and legs drop out softly towards the floor. You don't want to push on them or reef on them. Some of our most tender muscles are in the inner thigh and in the groin area. You just really want to let the inner thighs open up on their own. Let the hips open up. If you have blocks or bolsters, you can always prop your legs up. Taking the gravity out. Sometimes it really helps those muscles really release. We're going to get long. We're going to reach the hands up overhead on an inhale. And on an exhale, we're just going to walk the hands out in front of the feet, staying with a nice straight back, keeping our gaze out over the front of the mat. We're going to stay long here, really bending at the waist, reaching long with the back. And once you feel like you've stretched out about as far as you can go, if you want to change the dynamics of the stretch, we'll drop the crown of the head down to the soles of the feet, moving the stretch more up in the mid-back, the upper shoulders, letting the back of the neck get long. We're just going to breathe into it. We're going to stay connected with the breath. We're going to just try to soften the back, try to soften the hips. We're going to get real heavy on the mat. And on our next inhale, coming up one vertebra at a time, head coming up last. We're going to just cross over the heels. We're going to plant our hands in the front of the mat. And we're just going to come into our tabletop. You want to come into a nice neutral tabletop. You want your hands shoulder width distance. You want your fingers nice and wide. You want the wrist creases of your wrist parallel with the front of your mat. Hands should be shoulder width distance. Your knees can be a little bit wider than your hips, but you want them directly below the hips from the side. You want a nice long spine, gaze out over the front of the mat, nice long neck. Push your sit bones back towards your heels. And we'll just take a couple of breaths here. On our next inhale, we're going to sweep that right arm up towards the ceiling. And on our exhale, we're going to send it halfway through underneath the torso. We'll take it back up long on the inhale. We'll send it halfway through on the exhale. We're going to send it up long to the ceiling one more time on an inhale. Maybe our gaze will follow that hand. And on this exhale, we're just going to send that arm all the way through for thread the needle. Come down on that right shoulder, bring the right ear down the mat, and take that left arm out long in front of you. Or maybe wrap it around your back for a half bind. We're just going to stay connected with our breath. We're going to soften the body. We're going to quiet the mind. We'll take a nice big breath in, and on the exhale, we'll bring that left hand back to its place on the mat. And on the inhale, we'll sweep that right arm up long. And on the exhale, we'll just bring that hand right back down to the earth. And we're going to sweep that left arm up on an inhale. And on the exhale, we'll take it halfway through. We'll send it back up long on the inhale. We'll take it halfway through on the exhale. We'll take it back up long, letting the gaze follow that thumb on the inhale. And on this exhale, we're going to send it all the way through. Come down on that left shoulder, the left ear. You can always use a block or a prop there if you need to. Bring the earth up a little bit closer. We'll just take that right arm out long. Take a couple of nice big breaths here. Maybe a nice big sigh out through the mouth. We're going to take a nice big breath in, and on the exhale, we'll bring that right hand back to its place on the mat. We'll sweep that left arm up long, letting the gaze follow it. And on the exhale, we'll bring that hand back down to the earth. On our next inhale, we're going to send that right leg out long behind us, coming up on the ball of the foot. And we're just going to rock back and forth, opening up the calf, opening up the Achilles tendon, waking it up, waking up all the tendons and ligaments in the foot. And just getting some movement going. Working the hands a little bit. We'll come back to neutral, find a little bit of stillness. And on an inhale, we're going to bring that right leg up about hip height up off the floor. Keep the hips nice and square to the floor. And on our exhale, we're just going to take that right foot over the left side of the floor. We're going to really push back into it and stay up on the ball of that foot. Maybe walk that right hand over the left. I'm going to keep the shoulders square to the floor. Really push back into this pose. You can come down on the forearms and elbows and stay up high with it. Find some small movements. Really just make each pose your own. Explore them, experiment with them. If you find a nice juicy spot, you can just stay there right in that spot and just enjoy the stretch. We'll take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll bring that right hand back to its place on the mat. We'll send that leg out long behind us. And on our next exhale, we're just going to take it out 90 degrees on the floor. We'll drop that left glute back towards the left heel. We'll drop the head, round the back, opening up the shoulders. Still working on the back of that right leg, but now we're adding on the left quadricep. Contracting that hip flexor, the psoas muscle. We'll take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll start walking up. And on an inhale, we'll sweep the arms up overhead, get long, reaching up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we're just going to drop that right hand on the right leg. We're going to bring the left arm over the top. Coming into our gate pose. We're going to really root down to that left knee. We're going to keep square to the front of the mat, the shoulders and hips. And just stay connected with the breath. On our next inhale, with the core engaged, we'll come back to center. We'll reach both arms up long. And on our exhale, we'll drop that left hand down to the floor. We'll root into that right leg. We'll come into a modified half moon pose. You can take your gaze up to the hand that's up in the air. Look down at the hand on the floor. Keep that right foot flexed. And just stay connected with the breath. We'll take a nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, we'll bring that right foot down to the floor. And on the inhale, we'll sweep the arms up. And on our next exhale, we'll just bring the hands back down to the floor. We'll take that right leg long behind us. We're going to bend into that leg, bring that heel a little bit closer to the glute. We'll take the left arm out long, and we'll reach around and see if we can grab that foot. Just coming into a tabletop bind, dancing tabletop, some people call it. Just a nice stretch. Opening up the hip flexor, the quad, opening up the chest, the shoulders. We'll take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll slowly release our bind. We'll bring the arm and leg out long. We'll really reach in opposite direction, finding length. And on the next exhale, we'll place that hand and knee back down on the floor. And our next inhale, we're just going to send that left leg out long. Maybe we'll rotate the fingers back, working on the wrists and the hands a little bit more, but still taking those back and forth movements. Opening up the heel, the Achilles tendon, the calf. We'll find a little bit of stillness in the center. We'll rotate the fingers back to their normal position. And on our next inhale, we'll bring that left leg up, hip height up off the floor, keeping that foot flexed. And on the exhale, we'll take it over to the left side of the floor. Maybe we'll walk that left hand on top of the right and really push back into it. Find some small movements here. Can wiggle it side to side. You can keep the arms active or drop right down the forearms. Going to take a nice big breath in. On the exhale, we'll bring that left hand back to its spot on the floor. We'll sweep that left leg long behind us. And on the exhale, we're just going to take it out 90 degrees. We're going to send that right hip back towards the right heel. We'll drop the head, round the back, come down on the forearms and elbows. And we'll just really enjoy a nice stretch. Take a nice big breath in, and on the exhale, we'll start working back up. And on the inhale, we'll sweep the arms up overhead, reach long up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we'll drop that left hand down the left leg. We'll reach across with the right hand, keeping active in the fingers. You can take the gaze up towards the ceiling, really root down to that right knee. We'll take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll start working back up. Reaching the arms up overhead on the inhale, finding length, and on the exhale, we'll drop that right hand, we'll root that left leg. We'll find our half moon on the other side, modified half moon. We'll take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll bring that left foot back to the earth. We'll sweep the arms up overhead on the inhale. And then our next exhale, we'll just cartwheel the hands down. We're going to sweep that left leg long behind us. We're going to bend to that knee, bring that heel right up towards the left glute. We'll take the right arm out long. We'll reach out behind us. See if we can find the bind. Really kick into that hand, open up the quadricep, the hip flexor, the psoas. Opening up the chest muscles, getting wide across the collarbone. We'll take a nice big breath in. On the exhale, we'll slowly release our bind. We'll take the right arm out long, the left leg behind us. We'll find length, stretching out long in both directions. And on our next exhale, we'll bring the hand and knee back down to their place. We're just going to push the hips right back. We're going to come into a child's pose. We're going to keep it an active child's pose though. We're going to take the arms out long in front of us, keeping the fingers tinted, keeping the forearms up off the mat. And just really see if we can get the hips a little bit closer to the heels. We'll walk the hands over to the left side of the mat. We'll take the right hand on top of the left. We'll just rest that ear right on the bicep. We'll walk the hands back to center. We'll center the hips. We'll walk the hands right over to the right side of the mat. We'll send that left glute over towards the left heel. Bring that left ear right down the bicep. We'll walk the hands right back to the center. We'll take a nice big breath in. And on the exhale, we're just going to crawl through the hands. We're going to plant the hands down by the lower ribs. We're going to send the feet out long. And on an inhale, we're going to come into a cobra. We'll take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to roll over the toes. We're going to push it back into our first down dog. We can bend into both knees as much as we need to. Get the hips up as high as we can. You want the hands shoulder width distance, maybe a little bit wider. You want the fingers nice and splayed out. You want to really root down to the index finger and the thumb. You can bend into one knee at a time, walking out the dog. Maybe wagging the hips side to side. Shaking the head left and right. Just finding some small movements. Keeping the body flowing, keeping the blood pumping. Keeping the air flowing. We'll find a little bit of stillness. We're going to try to root the heels back a little bit closer to the back of the mat. We're going to push the chest a little bit closer to the legs. Just let the head get real heavy. And on our next inhale, we're going to jump up high on the toes. And on the exhale, we're going to drop the heels over to the right side of the mat. We're going to keep the shoulders as square as we can with the floor. We're going to really push the chest back towards the thighs. And just let the head get real heavy. And on our next inhale, we'll come back to center up onto the toes. And on the next exhale, we'll drop the heels over to the left. Keep the shoulders square. Push that chest back towards the thighs. Let the head get real heavy. And we'll just stay connected with the breath. On our next inhale, we'll come back to center, coming up high on the toes. And on the exhale, we're just going to push the heels back a little bit closer towards the mat. Let's see if we can get the chest a little bit closer to the legs. Just let that head get real heavy. We're going to take a nice big breath in. And on the exhale, we're going to bend into both knees. We're going to step forward with the right foot. We're going to let the left foot come up to join it. We'll halfway lift on an inhale. Forward fold on the exhale. We're going to bend into both knees and root to rise, one vertebra at a time. Coming up nice and slow. Arms coming up overhead. Coming into extended mountain. We'll interlock the fingers. We're going to send the pointer fingers up towards the ceiling. We're going to get long, reaching up towards the ceiling. We're just going to take it back for a nice long back bend. Not going deep, think length. And on an inhale, we'll come back to center. And on our next exhale, we're just going to take the hands over to the right. We're going to send the hips out to the left. We're going to stay square to the front of the mat. Really root down to that left foot. Keep the hips as square as you can to the front of the mat. Keep the arms as straight as you can. And then our next inhale with the core engaged, we'll come back to center. We'll find length, reaching up towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, we'll send the hands over to the left. We'll send the hips out to the right. And we'll just breathe into it. And on our next inhale, we'll come back to center. We're going to release the bind in the hands. Nice big breath in. And on the exhale, we'll forward fold. We'll halfway lift on an inhale. We'll forward fold, plant the hands. We'll step back with the right foot, step back with the left foot. We'll roll forward on the toes, chaturanga down. Up dog on an inhale. Down dog on the exhale. We'll take a couple of steps here, walking out the dog, take a couple of breaths. Just reconnecting with the mat, reconnecting with the body. We'll find a little bit of stillness here. We're going to push the heels back a little bit closer to the back of the mat. On our next inhale, we're going to step that left foot forward. We're going to bring the right foot up to join it. Bring both toes to touch. Halfway lift on an inhale. Forward fold on the exhale. Nice straight back, reverse swan dive up. Hands overhead. We'll take it back for a back bend. Nice big breath in. Forward fold on the exhale. Halfway lift on an inhale. We'll forward fold on the exhale. We'll plant the hands, step back with the left foot, step back with the right foot. We'll roll forward on the toes, chaturanga down. Up dog on an inhale. Down dog on the exhale. We're going to bring both big toes to the center of the mat. On the inhale, we're going to raise that right leg up towards the air. We're going to stack the hips, bend into that leg. We're going to bring that right heel over towards the left glute. Take our gaze underneath the left armpit. We'll take that leg in some circles. We'll reverse those circles. We'll find a little bit of stillness. We'll square the hips. We'll send that leg up high. And on the exhale, we'll bring that foot back down to the earth. Then our next inhale, we'll take that left leg up. We'll stack the hips, bend into that knee. We'll bring that heel over towards the right glute. We'll take our gaze under the right armpit, and we'll take that leg in some circles. We'll reverse those circles. We'll square the hips. We'll send that leg up long. And on our exhale, we'll bring that foot right back down to the earth. We'll take a couple of steps with our walking out the dog. Wag the tail. We'll come back to stillness. We'll see if we can get the heels a little bit closer to the back of the mat. Take a nice big breath in. On the exhale, we'll bend into both knees. We'll step forward with the right foot. We'll let the left foot come up to join it. We're going to sweep the arms up overhead, drop the hips. We're going to find our Utkatasana chair pose. We're just going to breathe into it. We're going to see if we can pick up all 10 toes. See if we can get the knees a little bit closer to directly over above the ankles. Bring the shoulders back in nice and tight to the back. We'll take a nice deep breath in. And on the exhale, we'll forward fold. Halfway lift on an inhale. We'll forward fold on the exhale. We'll plant the hands. We'll step back with the right foot. Step back with the left foot. Chaturanga down. Up dog on an inhale. Down dog on the exhale. We're going to step that right foot forward. Drop that left heel down. Heel to heel alignment. We're going to sweep up into our warrior one. And really set up your pose here. Set up your foundation. You want that bent knee directly over the ankle, in line with the second and third toe. Nice straight back, nice long back rather. It's not going to be straight, but nice straight arms. And just breathe into it. Start at the foundation, work your way up. We'll take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we're just going to cartwheel the hands down. We'll root plant the hands. We'll send that right leg up long, three-legged dog. We'll bring that foot right back down to the earth. Our next inhale, we're going to take the left leg up. We'll step it forward. We'll drop that right heel. We're going to find our Virabhadrasana one on the other side. Again, start at the feet. Really set up your foundation. Take a second to check it out. Heel to heel alignment. Want that front knee directly over the ankle. Get your hips as square as you can in the front of the room. Your shoulders nice and square at the front of the room. Arms nice and long. And just try to find a little stillness. We'll take a nice big breath in, and on the exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down. We'll send that left leg up long. We'll just bring it back down to the earth. Walk out the dog, take a couple of breaths here. We'll find a little bit of stillness. We'll send the heels back towards the back of the mat. And on our next inhale, we'll step forward with the left foot. Bring the right foot up to join it. We'll drop the hips. Sink down into our Utkatasana chair pose. We're going to see if we can get a little lower here. And our next inhale, we'll bring the hands down to prayer in front of the heart. And on our exhale, we'll lean forward. We'll bring that left elbow outside the right knee, coming into a prayer twist. You're going to keep your core engaged. Find a drishti point. Stay connected with your breath. And our next inhale, we'll sweep the arms up overhead. Coming back to center. Take a big breath in. And our next inhale, we'll bring the hands back down to prayer. We'll lean out over the quadriceps. We'll bring that right elbow outside the left knee. Come into prayer twist on the other side. And our next inhale, we'll sweep back up to center. We'll see if we can get just a little bit lower. Nice big breath in. Forward fold on the exhale. Halfway lift on an inhale. We'll forward fold, plant the hands, step back with the right foot, step back with the left foot. We'll roll it out, chaturanga down. Up dog on an inhale. Down dog on the exhale. We'll bring the big toes to touch. We'll take the knees out wide. We'll push it back in our child's pose. Then we'll bring the arms behind us this time, more traditional child's pose. Just reconnect with your breath, reconnect with the mat. And just take a couple of breaths here. Feel yourself ground down to the earth. And on the next inhale, we're going to send the arms out long. Make it more of an active child's pose. And on our inhale, we're going to sweep that right arm up long. And on the exhale, we're going to thread the needle, send it right underneath the torso. We're going to bring that right shoulder and right ear right down to the mat. And take the left arm out long. And the next inhale, we're going to sweep that right arm up towards the ceiling. We'll bring it back down to the earth on the exhale. We'll take that left arm up, and we'll thread it through on the exhale. We'll bring that left shoulder down, bring the left ear down. Send that right arm out long. And the next inhale, we'll sweep that left arm up long. On the exhale, we'll bring it back down to the place in the earth. Take a nice deep breath in, and on our exhale, we're just going to slide through the hands. We're going to plant the hands by the lower ribs, up dog on an inhale, down dog on the exhale. Sweep the right leg up, three-legged dog. We'll step it forward. We're going to drop that right heel. We're going to sweep the arms up, coming into our warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Really set up your foundation. You want heel to arch alignment. You want that ankle directly, or the knee directly above the ankle, align with the second and third toe. Arms parallel to the floor, torso 90 degrees of the floor. Core engaged, nice soft shoulders, nice soft gaze over that index finger. We'll take a deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll flip the palm. We'll exalt our warrior. Let that left hand drop softly down the leg. Maybe bring it around you for a half bind. Really reach out with those right fingers. We'll take a nice deep breath in. We'll stay for the exhale. On the inhale, we'll sweep back into our warrior two. We'll drop that arm on the exhale. We'll come into our side angle. And we'll bring that arm right over the top. Bring the bicep a little closer to the ear. Come into our side angle. Extended side angle. Take that right arm out long. Working on some core work. Maybe wrap it up in a half bind or a bind. Take a deep breath in and stay for the exhale. And on the inhale, we'll let that right arm pull us back up. Coming back into our warrior two. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down. We'll send that right leg up long. Roll out high plank, chaturanga down. Up dog in the inhale. Down dog in the exhale. We'll sweep that left leg up long. We'll step it forward. We're going to drop that right heel. We're going to pop right up in our warrior two. We'll set up the pose, set up the foundation. Heel to arch alignment. Knee directly over the ankle. Right in line with the second and third toe. And just set it right up from the ground up. Take a couple of breaths here. Find a little bit of stillness. Take a nice big breath in. On the exhale, we'll flip that left palm. We'll exalt our warrior. And the next inhale, we'll come back to our warrior two. And on the exhale, we'll drop that left arm down. Coming into our side angle. Taking it right over to our extended side angle. You can take that left arm out long. Wrap it up in a bind, a half bind, or a full bind. Just listen to your body. Not everybody's pose is going to look the same. They shouldn't all feel the same. We'll take a nice deep breath in. We'll stay for the exhale. And on the inhale, we'll let that right arm pull us right back up to our warrior two. And on the exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down. And send that left leg long. We'll just bring that foot right back down to the earth. Bring the big toes to touch. We'll take the knees out wide and we'll push it back into Balasana, child's pose. We're going to take a nice big breath in. On the exhale, we're just going to crawl through the hands. We'll plant the hands by the lower ribs. Up dog on an inhale. Down dog on the exhale. We'll take that right leg up. We'll step it forward. Drop that left heel. We're going to sweep up in our warrior two. And the next inhale, we're going to straighten into that front leg. Send the hips to the back of the mat. We're going to reach out and get really long in the torso. And on the next exhale, we'll drop that right hand down to the shin, the ankle, the foot, the mat, maybe a block. We'll send that left arm up long. Keep the fingers really active. And just stay connected with the breath. This pose works every muscle, every nerve. Helps you with your concentration. We'll just breathe into it. We'll take a nice deep breath in. We'll stay for the exhale. On our next inhale, we'll let that left arm pull us up. We're going to let the right arm continue on up. Exalted triangle. Next inhale, we'll bend in that front leg. We'll sweep back into our warrior two. And on the exhale, we'll cartwheel the hands down. We'll plant the hands. We'll send that right leg up long. We'll roll it out high plank. Chaturanga down. Up dog on an inhale. Down dog on the exhale. Take that left leg right up to the air. Step it forward. Come into our warrior two on the other side. Straighten that front leg. Send the hips back on an inhale. Then we're going to get really long in the torso. Reach out long, reach out long, reach out long. Let that left hand come down to the ankle. Send that right arm up nice and long. And just stay in the pose. Both legs active, both arms active. Neck nice and long. We'll take a deep breath in. Stay for the exhale. And on the inhale, we'll let that right arm pull us back up. Left arm continue on up, exalted triangle. Take a nice big breath in, stay for the exhale, and on the inhale we'll sweep back into our warrior two. We'll cartwheel the hands down, plant the hands, we'll send that left leg up long. And on the exhale, we'll bring that foot back down to the earth. Take a couple of steps here, take 2 or 3 breaths holding this pose, or you can just find stillness. Maybe a little bit of movement. And our next in, we're going to find a little bit of stillness. We'll send the heels back down towards the back of the mat. And then our next inhale, we're going to sweep that right leg up long. And on the exhale, we're going to bring the right ankle to the left wrist. We'll bring the right knee to the right wrist. Setting up for a half pigeon. You want to square the hips up as much as you can with the floor. You want to really look at that back leg. Make sure the foot's not sickling in or out. Make sure it's nice and straight. Square the hips, get really wide in the chest, bring the shoulder blades in nice and tight to the spine. Take a nice deep breath in, and on the exhale, we'll forward fold. You can come down on a block, a pillow. You can rest your forehead on your arms, your back of your hands. And just get real heavy in the earth. Check in with your body. Notice if there's anywhere you're still holding tension. Maybe we can direct our exhales there. Take our breath right through it. And our next inhale, we'll start walking back up, keeping the core engaged, keeping square to the floor, keeping the chest nice and wide. We're just going to roll over onto that right glute and sweep that left leg out in front of us. We're just going to bring the bottom of the right foot right in tight to the thigh. We're going to sweep the arms up overhead. We're going to get long, reaching up towards the torso. And on the exhale, we're just going to reach over, forward fold, head to knee pose. You can bend that front leg as much as you need to. Reach out for the foot, the ankle, the shin. We're not all going to go as deep as the next person. We're not even going to go as deep as we did the day before. Maybe tomorrow we'll go a little bit deeper, maybe we won't. Just listen to your body. Go right to the edge. And our next inhale, we'll start coming back up. We're going to sweep that right arm long behind us. We're going to root into the hips and push ourselves up on an inhale. Coming into stargazer. Really push the hips up. Let that left arm come right on back. Let the head get heavy. Opening up the hip flexors, the psoas. Opening up the abdominals. And just breathe into it. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we're just going to bring the hips back down to the mat. We're going to take that left leg across the mat, roll over on the left glute, and then sweep that right leg out long behind us, setting up for half pigeon on the other side. We're going to square the hips up to the floor, and check that back leg, make sure it's nice and straight. We're going to get squared up, we're going to get wide in the chest, bring the shoulders in nice and tight to the back. Big breath of air in, and on the exhale, we're just going to release. And get real heavy, sink into the floor, sink into the earth. Just stay connected with the breath. Let our thoughts run right through. And our next inhale, we'll start engaging the core. We'll start walking back up. Staying nice and square with the floor. Staying nice and broad across the chest. We're just going to roll over on that left glute. We'll sweep the right leg out in front of us. We'll bring that left foot in nice and tight. Sweep the arms out wide on an inhale. And on an exhale, we'll forward fold. On our next inhale with the core engaged, we'll start coming back up. We'll sweep that left arm behind us. We'll plant the hands, and on an inhale, we'll push the hips up. We'll bring that right arm right over the top, come into our stargazer, rock star, broken triangle. Take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, we'll bring the hips back down to the floor. We're going to roll over on that left glute, swing that right leg out behind us. We're going to plant the hands, come up on the ball of the right foot, just to keep a little balance in the hips. We'll stack the hips, we'll take that leg in some circles. We'll reverse those circles. We'll square the hips, send that leg up long. We're just going to bring that foot right back down to the earth. It's going to come down onto the knees. We're going to cross the ankles. We're going to send the legs out. We're going to bring the feet mat width distance. Keep the feet parallel to the long edge of the mat. We're just going to bring the hands behind us. Fingers can be pointed forward or backwards. We're just going to let the legs drop. Windshield wiper legs drop on the exhales. Pick them back up on the inhales. Just nice and slow. Resetting the spine. The next time the knees drop over to the left, we're just going to let them stay down. We'll take our gaze over the right shoulder. We'll come back to center on an inhale. We'll take them over to the right. Take the gaze over the left shoulder. On our next inhale, we'll come back to center. We're going to send the legs out long. We're going to bring the hands in nice and tight to the sit bones, thumbs in, fingers out. We're just going to lay back down on the forearms and elbows. We're going to bring the shoulder blades in nice and tight. We're going to arch the back up towards the ceiling. We're going to shine the heart, get wide in the collarbones. Coming into our fish pose. And our next inhale, we're going to engage the core just enough to bring the arms out a little wider. We're just going to slowly lower the torso down to the floor. We're going to take the arms overhead. We're going to point the toes. We're going to really reach long with the fingers and wrists. Let the ankles and feet really reach out and just find some extra length. And on an inhale, we're going to pull the knees into the chest with the core engaged. We're going to reach for opposite elbow. Opposite wrist, we're just going to rock side to side. Take it in some circles. We'll reverse those circles. We're going to find a little bit of stillness in the center. We'll bring the knees in for another nice squeeze. We're just going to release that left leg out long. We're going to bring the right shin in with the fingers interlocked about 2 inches below the knee. We're just going to pull that knee in towards the right armpit. Just outside the rib cage. Right foot can be nice and soft, relaxed. That left foot might be flexed. Helping to keep that left hip down on the floor. Both shoulders should be flat on the floor. About the only muscles working should be that, maybe that left foot and both biceps. We'll release the bind with the right arm. We're going to take that left leg long across the torso. We're going to send the right arm out long, or maybe cactus it. Maybe we'll take the gaze over that right shoulder for supine twist. On our next inhale with the core engaged, we're going to come back up to center. We'll bring both knees in for a nice big squeeze. We're going to let that right leg drop out long. We're just going to interlock the fingers. We're going to take the opposite bind this time though. So the opposite finger's on top. We're going to pull that left knee right into the left armpit. Keep the right hip flat on the floor, both shoulders flat on the floor. Keep that left foot soft. We're just going to release our bind with the left hand. We're going to pull that leg across our torso with the right. We'll send that left arm out long, or maybe cactus it. We'll take our gaze over the left shoulder. On our next inhale with the core engaged, we're going to bring both knees in for a nice big squeeze. We're going to release our bind. We're going to just send both legs up nice and high to the ceiling. Maybe we'll take our hands right underneath our sit bones. We're just going to separate the legs about 6 to 8 inches. We're just going to take the ankles in some circles. We'll reverse those circles. Come back to a little bit of stillness. We're just going to point and flex the feet. Dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Just working the ankles a little more. Loosening them up, keeping them loose. We'll find a little bit of stillness. We'll just let gravity drain everything out. We're just going to remove our hands from underneath our sit bones. We're going to bend into both knees. We're going to reach out for the outside edges of our feet, come into our happy baby. You want to try to keep the sacrum as low on the floor as you can. You want to try to bring the elbows in towards the underarms. Get the feet as square to the ceiling as possible. You can rock side to side, take it in some circles. You straighten one knee at a time, get a nice hamstring stretch. Take it in circles. You can reverse those circles. You can straighten both knees for a nice wide-legged hamstring stretch. We're going to release our bind. We're just going to send the feet up nice and long up towards the ceiling one more time. Take the arms out 90 degrees to the floor. Maybe palms down. We're just going to slowly lower the legs down to the floor. It could be a 4 count, it could be a 5 count, it could be a 10 count. Let's get a little extra core work. The stronger we make our core, the less we use our lower back. Nice and slow, stay connected with the breath. Don't hold the breath. Make sure you're using your core more than just the quadriceps and the hip flexors. Once the feet are on the floor, we're going to take the arms up overhead for another nice long body stretch. We're just going to bring our hands down by our side. We'll let the feet fall out wide. We'll take as much mat as what we need to. For Shavasana, it's one of the most important poses to yoga. It's where the body accepts all the hard work you did. It's where all the rehabilitated properties are accepted by the body. And for a lot of people, this is their only peace and quiet. So we'll just close the eyes. We'll let the breath return back to normal. We'll start coming back to our rooms, start coming back to our mats, start coming back to our bodies by deepening our breath. We'll find some small movements within our fingers and toes. We'll roll the wrists and ankles. We'll bend into the knees and elbows. And maybe we'll take the arms overhead for another nice long body stretch, maybe a yawn. And engaging the core one more time, we'll pull the knees into our chest for a nice big squeeze, but this time it's for a hug of gratitude, showing our body how grateful we are to it, for all it does for us. We'll roll over to our favorite side, be it our left or our right, maybe bringing the third eye down to the earth, feeling our bodies grounded down to the earth. We'll place one hand on our heart, feeling our life force, our heartbeat, feeling our chest rise and fall with our prana entering. And with the help of our arms, we'll push ourselves back up into an easy seat position. Either keep your eyes closed or a nice soft gaze down at the front of your mat. And on an inhale, we'll sweep our arms up high overhead. We'll bring the palms together in prayer. And on the exhale, we'll drop our thumbs down to our heart center. I'd like to seal this practice with an Om. The Om is what connects us all together. It's what connects us with the universe, the vibration. It's there. It connects us all together. You can either join me out loud or you can just sit in silence. Either way, you will reap the benefits of the vibration. So we'll take a nice big breath in. We'll bring our thumb knuckles to our third eye. The light in me honors and sees the light in you. May you all go throughout the rest of your night, throughout the rest of your week, throughout the rest of your lives with peace, love, and happiness. And I say to you all, Namaste.